All right, guys, I gave you a little teaser the other day saying that we were going to do an indoor unboxing, and we are. So here I am, I'm back. And a good multi-tool is something that everybody, I think, should have in their kit. And yeah, is the British word for your gear. There's a shout out for all my Commonwealth folks. Anyway, yeah, it's really, I mean, it's a great item to have, and I remember showing you guys just recently this old beat-up guy that I was issued literally decades ago, and you know, I still have it, and it's very special to me, and it has been used and abused, and they can be pretty expensive. So when I got a chance to take a look at a relatively cheap, I shouldn't say cheap, you know, not cheap quality, because we're going to take a look at it, but inexpensive one from a company, a new company that I hadn't heard of before, I decided it would be something interesting that some folks on the channel might be interested in, so we'll take a look at it. And what's really interesting, too, is that Patty, at Patty's Potato Peelers, just looked at this item, too, which is pretty funny. So, this company, Beebury, they gave me the opportunity to take a look at some stuff that they had on their Amazon store. And I saw two items that I thought you guys might be interested in. So I said, yeah, let's take a look. And they were nice enough to provide me with a couple samples to look at. And this is one of them, and we'll see the other item in a little bit. Now, they have a few different multi-tools available. I picked this one based on the number of tools and the features it has, because I like the combination. So the first thing I will tell you, though, because, you know, being totally honest, it's heavy. It's a little heavier than some other tools, but not ungainly heavy, not unworkably heavy, but it does have a little bit of weight to it, especially compared to say something like the Leatherman Wave or like the SOG Power Plier or something like that. Now, of course, you got the materials here. Now, being, you know, an inexpensive thing, yes, 3CR13 steel is not the best material out there. It's not great, but again, this is for the folks that don't have a lot of money to spend, or just, you know, want an inexpensive option. So, you know, you got to deal with it. 344 grams. I'm going to translate that on screen to ounces and stuff like that. But you've got some good tools that come on this thing. And one of the things I especially liked about it is that you've got your spring-loaded pliers, which is a good feature that a lot of more expensive multi-tools don't come with. And I really like that. And, you know, if you've had to do a lot of work with a multi-tool, and you know, it's been your only thing, and you've had to do a lot of work, this can get pretty wearisome after a while. And I love spring-loaded multi-tools because they just open up for you like that again. So that's a pretty good feature to have. I enjoy it. It's a full-size tool, so it fits the hand pretty nicely. And that, of course, adds to the weight. And it's full steel. There's like no skimping on, you know, plastic or anything like that. So it's, I'd wager to say, I'd throw it out there right now, pretty heavy duty. A lot of tools will give you like plastic handles and stuff like that. So I'm liking that so far. And that's, you know, that's probably adding to the weight. Now they have, again, they have some other ones that are a little bit smaller and probably a little bit lighter, but I picked this one specifically for the amount of tools and the features. Knowing that it was all steel when I got my hands on it. This one is also, they have some that are riveted. This one you can take apart, and I noticed that when I was looking at it, because I looked at all this kind of flat steel construction. If you wanted to, you could disassemble this whole thing and Cerakote the crap out of all of it, which is something that attracted me to it. Because if you take an inexpensive tool like that, and then you start throwing your modifications on it, you can not only really personalize it, right, but you can add a level of protection and a level of, I don't know what the word is I'm thinking of right now, but you can really add to it. And because you start with an inexpensive platform, you have some extra money to spend to go up. And adding, let's say you were to disassemble this thing and Cerakote it all, that really adds value to it and adds life to it and adds protection to it. And who knows all the cool things you could do with different Cerakote colors and everything. So, but anyway, so there's that. One of the ways I like to just test out the wire cutters that are inside is just to do a quick, let's snip. Yeah, okay. I've been using pipe cleaners to test stuff like that because, believe it or not, when these things get worn out, yeah, they just don't even, a pipe cleaner, with its wire filament inside, it's just a great way to test out a wire cutter real quick without stressing out the wire cutter and without damaging it, but giving it a good, accurate test. And as you can see, this thing's so beat up and used that it doesn't cut wire in any way. Oh, look, I found a spot where it still does. One little spot. But in general, it has now become a wire crimper. So the wire cutter on there has some good crisp action. And that one spot where I didn't cut, I didn't realize it. If you look, if it will zoom in, you actually have a spot for crimping wire in the bottom, which is where I put it in there that it didn't. That's very interesting. I did not realize that. That's pretty cool. So of course you got needle nose pliers. Whether you like needle nose or flat nose pliers for different things is up to you. Let's just go through all the tools that are available on this guy. Butterfly opening. Some people like the slide opening. Some people prefer the butterfly opening. So let's start on this side. We've got a file and a ruler in centimeters. That's actually a lot more clearly marked than some of the other ruler attachments I've seen on some multi-tools. Nice file, actually, pretty deep. Now I could just look at the box and know exactly what all the tools are and where to grab them from, but of course I'm not going to do that. Does this lock? This does lock. Look at that. Locking tools. Cool. That's an advantage. And then what do we got here? Here's a blade. And the blade also locks with the same easy to release locking system. Pretty decent looking blade. Of course we got to test it out. Comfortable to hold. And we need some cutting money. One day I'm going to run out of cutting money. And that's really going to upset me because I don't remember where it came from. Very nicely finished, actually, for a $23 multi-tool. Very nice. Now, of course, we're dealing with a lower grade of steel, so you will have to maintain that edge over time. But because it's 3CR13 steel, it will be easy to put an edge on, to put that edge back if you know your sharpening skills. Very nicely sharpened out of the package. This is what I love. You've got a standard bit holder right here, and it comes with an assortment of bits. They're a little difficult to get out of the sheath, but you've got 8 bits right there, and of course you can replace these with. Oh wow, they're in there tight. Well, guess what? I'm going to use the tool. You can replace these with whatever your most commonly used bits are. Oh, they're double-sided. Okay. I'm wondering now if you can just replace them with other bits. I don't know. But you can get other bits that are like this if these are not the ones you want. But what do we have here? Let's see what we've got. Ouch. All right, so we've got a slot 6 and a 4. We've got a slot 2.5 and a Phillips 0 and a Phillips 2 and a 1. And then we've got a T10 and a T15. I would really love it if it came with a T6, since the vast majority of knife screws in the world are T6. That would really help. I might find a T6 and an 8 and replace maybe, I don't know, something on there with it. But comes with your bit driver. So you have that. Of course, that locks in too. And then let's go to the other side. And what do we have here? So some people might call this a saw. Some people might call this a very serrated blade. This is something I'm gonna, I want to do a little follow-up test on this outdoors, outside, when we're not blanketed in like 20 inches of snow. Definitely want to test this out and see what it does. They call it a saw. So if it's a saw, I want to see what it can cut through and everything. So over here, of course, you've got your bottle opener and your another slotted driver right there. Over here, you've got an awl, in case you need that. And you've got here a small slot driver and a can opener, the good old-fashioned can opener. I've actually used these a lot. I don't know if anybody has made use of these can opener types. I have used this one on this multi-tool quite a bit, and they're kind of fun to use, I gotta say. They are enjoyable to use. Yeah, so you got all those, and these all lock. Everything locks in place. I'm sorry, this was just your serrated blade. This was not the saw, because here is the saw. And again, we'll test both of them outside. Well, this is, they say, a serrated rope cutting knife for this guy right here. So we'll cut some rope outside, and then we'll test the saw blade out outside as well. So you got a lot of tools packed into this little guy, and I love that everything locks. That's a plus. The one detracting feature on this thing to me is the steel's not great. But again, it's a budgeted price multi-tool, and the weight is kind of high. But again, if it's if you're getting somebody into these things for the first time, or if you're looking for an affordable option, or you're just looking for maybe a backup to a more expensive tool you have, it's actually not too bad for the price. For what you're paying, it's not bad. Not at all. And, it's an Amazon Prime item, so if you're a Prime member, you don't pay any shipping on it or anything, which is good, because it's a little bit heavy. It's fairly comfortable in your hand. The handles are big, because they got a lot of tools in them. But just the spring-loadedness to me is a great feature. I wish all of them had that. It really helps. The sheath that comes with is pretty standard. It's nylon. It just has like a backing, not so much padding. It's not elastic, just big enough to hold this thing, and it has a single belt loop on it. But it's stitched well. It's built well. It's not going to rip on you. It's not going to fall apart on you. It's, the elastic that holds this, you got to kind of work a little bit. Let's get this in there. And it holds the tool. I mean, that's what it's made to do. It holds the tool nicely. It's made for that. Got a little bit of branding on there. There's a PVC thing on there, which you could remove if you wanted to. But it holds the tool, and that's not too bad. So, if you're in the market for a more affordable tool, a lower cost tool, this is an option to look into for sure. I promise you guys, when I can get outside and actually reach stuff on the ground, we're gonna have to wait a little bit until we get rid of that snow. We'll do a follow-up on this. We'll test out the rope cutting knife. We'll test out the saw on it. We'll probably, we'll open a can with it. We'll do like a whole follow-up on the tools on this thing, and test it out a little bit. But it is not a bad item at all for the price, for what you're paying, compared to the cost of like an equal amount of tools, equal features, equal sized by some of the bigger name brands, and what they would charge you. Yeah, not bad at all. So I will put this on my Amazon influencer list under multi-tools and stuff if you wanna go check it out and take a look at it for yourself. I will also, if you're interested in some of the other models they have, I'll give you a link to their Amazon store in the video description, so you can kind of see the other options that are out there for them. They have some that are actually less expensive than this too, because I recognize, that's the thing. Sometimes even me now, sometimes I got a few extra bucks to spend. Sometimes I just don't anymore. Boy, I miss the active duty days when I had, honestly, being active military and being deployed, you had money to spend. You did. You do. You have plenty of money to spend on toys. And I miss those days. You do. Sometimes you want a nice little affordable option without breaking the bank. And I think that's what this thing can give you. I welcome your comments on it, questions. Again, check it out for yourself, see the listing, or just wait till we do the follow-up on it. But until then, remember, you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.